There we go. All right. YouTube, you know, I swear they changed the maybe it's me and you guys can let me know. But I swear they changed the controls on this stuff a couple months ago when you're streaming from your phone. Anyways, hey, welcome back to the Friday Night Prepper Pre-Party Show. Obviously, we're going to talk about silver and gold tonight. And let's dedicate this video to my friend Trident Stacking. By the way, if you don't know, Trident Stacking, he loves videos with hands and silver. So let him know that Sarge did a video for him so he can come over here and check it out. This video is for you, buddy. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody, how's my audio so far? Am I okay? Because I'm using my headset. If you can't hear me, you got to let me know. We're going to be talking about silver and gold tonight, and it's going to be kind of a short video, I think, unless we get a lot of questions. But let's go ahead and first things first, let's start with disclaimer from the legal team, since we're going to be talking about money.
Back to Prepping with Sarge. As a reminder, this channel does not provide financial advice. Sarge is not a financial advisor.
Definitely not.
Just some silly YouTuber creating videos for entertainment purposes. A real goofball.
That's me.
You probably shouldn't even listen to him.
Definitely
I'm
not.
surprised he even knows how to tie his own shoes.
Yeah.
This dude totally doesn't know what he is doing.
I really don't.
Seriously, turn back now if you are still here. Please remember that all financial transactions have a risk of losing a value.
It's true.
You should definitely do your own due diligence and consult a real financial advisor before buying precious metals. With all that being said, please remember to be kind to the moderators.
Definitely be kind to the moderators.
Let's have a great show, everyone. Here we go.
All right. Thank you, legal team. Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. It's Wayne, it's called Gesserit. It's GESSERIT.co. And there's like a bunch of different voices on there that you can use. All right, folks. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about silver and gold. And some of you who have been with me for a while, we've kind of talked about this before. I'll show you some coins as we go. And I do want to tell you real quick, if you're brand new to the channel. Oh, Rural, thank you so much. Appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. You rock. Thank you so much. If you're brand new to the channel, we are doing a giveaway. We're getting very, very close to 5,000 now. I'm like down to 90 more people. Sometime after we hit 5,000, we're going to be doing a giveaway, and one of the prizes. That's right, Stray Kitten, exactly. One of the prizes that is coming. I haven't received it yet, but Apmex is sending 2 ounces of silver to give away. So as soon as I have that, I will show you. But that supposedly is on its way, and you've seen some of the other prizes. On Tuesday, I've got another prize that's being announced, so stay tuned for that video. Obviously, the gas mask from Miro Safety's in there as well. So all the rules for that have, oh yeah, the lighting is a little green. Let me see if I can fix that. Hang on. Is that better or worse? That's worse. I don't know. We'll go with that. All the rules for this, for the giveaway, are now, when you go to my channel, the rules video is the one that you will see first. Okay, so it's up there at the top of the page. Everything is explained in there. You definitely want to make sure you're checking that out. So that being said, let's get right into the story. And I promise you, we're going to try to keep this one short today. So the story is actually it's real simple. Really, there's not much to embellish with this, but I have a friend who was basically almost homeless. His wife got sick, and this was a couple years ago. Yeah, hit the thumbs up if you're new here, please. I appreciate that. It does help me out. And if you hate my channel, go ahead and give me the thumbs down. I appreciate the feedback either way. It's all good. So, anyways, my friend was his wife had gotten really, really sick with an illness, and because of the thank you, Stuart, because of the medical bills and because of the missing a lot of work because he was taking her to and from her appointments for her doctors. No, there's nothing on the green screen. That's probably what it is. It's the lights just reflecting. Yeah, that's okay. There's nothing on the green screen today. That's right. That's right, Stray Kitten. Exactly. Hey, welcome, Emerald Coast Stacker. Appreciate you. So, unfortunately, what happened was missing so much time from work, he ended up losing his job too. So, in addition to dealing with a really serious illness for his wife, this poor dude lost his job because sometimes the boss is not really sympathetic, and in this case, they basically said, "Well, if you can't show up for work, we have to let you go." And so for a little while, they were able to live off their emergency cash savings. And as a prepper, you definitely should have some emergency cash savings, as much as you can afford to stack back. But he had also been kind of a casual stacker, not as hardcore as some of the people in our community, but he was a casual stacker. And he had a pretty decent sized silver coin collection that he accumulated over the years. And um, as he was trying to get back into work, things were taking longer than they should have. And if you've ever been out of work, because I was about, let me see, how long ago was that? Give me a second here. I got to do the math. It might have been 12 or 15 years ago or so. A program that I was working for, because I work in the mental health field, they lost the grant funding just fell out, and me and a bunch of other people got let go. And it sucks, man. It really sucks. And this is like, I'm not gonna lie, I got pretty depressed because as a guy, I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like this, but you guys are gonna know what I'm talking about. Like, we kind of, one of the ways that we identify ourselves is like being the provider for the family, right? Like, it's really important to us. And so when I couldn't do that, I felt like that big, like really, really crappy. So I know what this guy was feeling like. And yeah, in my case, also, it took me a long time to find work, much longer than I would have expected. And we lived off our savings for a while too. But this guy, when he ran out of his savings, he did start selling off pieces of his silver stack piece by piece to basically keep them afloat, to get groceries and keep the electricity on, until they could get work again, and then eventually was able to get caught up, right? So this idea that I see floated around in the prepping community, and I see it on the forums all the time. I see it on the Facebook groups all the time, that silver and gold is useless because you can't eat silver and gold, is just really so short-sighted. It's based on this concept of like end of the world prepping, right? End of the world prepping. But the thing is, when we hyper focus on end of the world scenarios, zombies, EMP, comets, nuclear bombs, I find that a lot of preppers miss the opportunity to prepare for all those little personal SHTF situations that everyone's going to endure, right? Like, so at some point in your life, somebody in your family is going to have a medical complication. Somebody in your family is going to lose their job. Somebody in your family is going to be hit with some kind of major repair. Exactly. Y'all got it. Yep. And there you go. I love that, Wayne. Wayne used his for down payment. That's awesome. That's exactly that's a great purpose for it. But these little scenarios, these recessions, even, right? Those are SHTF too. They're just smaller SHTF. They're localized SHTF. They're personal SHTF, right? But that's what this stuff is for, right? I will agree with you if you want to say to me that this is not going to do me any good in the zombie apocalypse. I agree with you. I could make colloidal silver with it, right? I could do that, so I could make some medicine with it. But for the most part, it's not going to have a lot of uses. Maybe if there's werewolves, I could melt it and make some bullets or something. But for the most part, in the end of the world scenarios, silver and gold is not going to do you a whole lot of good. At that point, you're going to want your beans, bullets, band-aids, bullion, not bullion, batteries, your bees. But bullion is a bee also, and that's for the situations leading up to the worst case scenario. That's what this is for, right? So when you think about situations like collapse, even of a country's economy, that's not end of the world, folks. That is not end of the world. The United States economy could completely collapse, and that does not mean the world is going to collapse. It does not mean that civilization is going to collapse. Is it going to take down a lot of world economies with it if the U.S. economy goes down? Yup, it definitely is. But guess what's always survived the collapse of currencies? Guess what's always survived the collapse of empires? Your old friends, silver and gold, right? Because these two things have value in the medical community. These two things have value in the industrial community. And even before the Industrial Revolution, these were the two things that commerce was based on, right? And in the United States, it was based on this up until we were no longer gold backed until we were no longer backed our currency with gold, right? So even in the collapse of an economy, let's say that the worst case scenario for the United States happened, this still has value because eventually another currency is going to rise to be the dominant world currency. And silver and gold will still have value for many nations, and you can trade it up to whatever the new currency is, right? So the dollar might collapse to zero. I don't know. It could. Hopefully not. I'm prepping for retirement. Maybe you are too. I hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, if you've got a little bit of gold and silver set back, you're probably going to be able to not come out completely empty-handed, right? Like, yeah, having been a stacker for a while now, and most of my metals are stored off-site. By the way, I'll talk about that in a minute. A lot of people don't like that; they advise against it. I'll tell you why I do it. But even if everything collapsed, I'm not starting from zero because I've been a stacker. Okay, and that's another reason. Thank you, D-Man. Appreciate that. So if you look at situations like Argentina with, this is kind of a cool one. This is a peso or dos pesos, very, very small, but there's a little bit of gold in there. I don't know, Stray Kitten. I'm not sure about that. Maybe somebody else in chat can answer that. So in Argentina, when their currency collapsed, Furfal's written a couple books about it. And if you've been watching Lee, Cold War Prepper, he's talked about his Furfal's books a few times. And one of the things that Furfal talked about is that after the economy collapsed, people were still bartering, they were still trading, and guess what? Guess who took over and provided security for that in a lot of cases? It was organized crime. And the organized crime realized that neighborhoods needed protection. And believe me, I'm not advocating for organized crime, right? I'm just telling you this is what happened in Argentina. They set up little places where people could safely barter. The organized crime set up the protection. So you could go there and you could safely barter, and the organized crime took their cut of that. In some cases, it was off-duty police officers that were doing it instead of organized crime. But people were trading goods there, right? And maybe some of that was like canned goods, or maybe some of it was stuff people made. Maybe people were trading services like how to repair shoes, stuff like that, right? But one of the things that he said was that sometimes, yeah, and Selco too. Thank you, Lee. I was going to talk about Selco in a minute. Sometimes he would see people bringing gold jewelry, chains, and things like that, and they would bargain with, maybe a table had some canned goods, and they said, "Well, I need some canned goods," and they'd say, "Okay, we'll take 4 links off that gold chain." So they put it down on the table and they'd cut it with a knife, right? Gold is a very soft metal, so it would be, where did I put my knife? So honestly, if I wanted to, I'm not going to do it, but I could cut this into pieces with this. And I wouldn't do it on here. I'd do it on a harder surface, but you could do it because gold is a very soft metal. So that happened in Argentina when their currency was basically worth nothing. All right. So, oops, for some reason that didn't go through. Let me see. Oh, you took it back. Okay. Wait. And then Selco too, right? Now Selco's situation was a little bit different, but yeah, if you had gold and silver, you could maybe get some medication. And this was in the collapse of the USSR in the early 90s, right? Now, a lot of people didn't have precious metals because that area of the world was not exactly very wealthy anyways. But if you did, you might have been able to buy your way off the X, as they say, buy your way out of the country. And by the way, that's happening right now. People are escaping from war-torn countries by bribing their way, paying mules. If you don't know what I mean by mule, like it's somebody who helps smuggle you out of the country, crossing borders, forging your papers, things like that, with silver and gold. And that's been going on since at least the American Civil War, right? We know that the gold and silver were used to cross blockades in the Civil War, so that people could get things that they normally couldn't get, right? And in World War II, people were using silver and gold to get out of the war areas. The entire world was at war, but out of war zones, active war zones, right? So it's silly to think that gold and silver has no uses for a prepper. Should it be your first prep? No. I think all of us would agree that your first prep should be water purification, some food security. Then you can think about, like, your personal security, however you manage that. If you like firearms, get some training, please. If you don't like firearms, then think about what you are comfortable with. Land is a great investment too for preppers, right? Maybe if you've got a little bit of money put back, you want to get a secondary location that's kind of remote. That's a great use of your money. I'm thinking about that personally. So yeah, and that's true. So Lee's saying, back in the day, you could see the ridges on here if I put it real close to the camera. Back in the day, people would scrape off little bits of gold as they were doing transactions, especially in cowboy America. That was happening. They'd take a knife and they'd scrape off little bits of gold and then save that, and then eventually you'd have enough to melt another round or whatever. So yeah, we got to get past this mentality that gold and silver have no purpose. I can't eat gold and silver. Yeah, guess what? I can't eat my knife either. I can't eat my flashlight. I can't eat my bug out vehicle. But they have purpose. They have purpose. Not everything. Not all of your preps are about eating them. So that's a silly argument. Now, I get it if you don't, if you can't, if you're financially not in a place to do this right now. I totally get that. And again, focus on your budget. Focus on what you can do. And again, your first priority should be a way to purify and store water. You can drink colloidal silver, and actually it has some medicinal properties, although this is not medical advice, of course. Um, the somebody needs to do a video on that. I don't think anyone's done a video on that in a long time. Somebody in the community needs to do a video on colloidal silver. It's easy to make though. You just need distilled water, as pure silver as you can get, and some 9-volt batteries and some wires, and you can make colloidal silver. And colloidal silver has some antibiotic properties. You can make a tropical ointment with it, or you can make basically like droppers to take it in orally. But a colloidal silver, you can look that up yourselves. Don't take my advice for it. Look it up and see what you think about that. All right, I'm gonna pause here. So you guys know that in 2024, I said that I was going to do some shout outs for veterans and first responder businesses. And who we're going to shout out tonight is Brenda's Vac Shop. So, folks, if you're in the Chester County, Pennsylvania area, the best place to get your vacuums or to get your vacuums repaired and serviced is Brenda's Vac Shop. They've been family owned and operated since 1937. Their motto is "We sell the best and service the rest." Specializing in SIBO and Mealy, Brenda sells Riccar and Simplicity vacuums. They can drop ship to anywhere in the United States. They have amazing prices and great warranties with 2 locations at 51 North Bailey Road in Thorndale, Pennsylvania, and 135 East Market Street, number 3152 West Chester, Pennsylvania. You can find them on Facebook and on the web at brendavacshop.com or by calling 610-384-6001. That's Brenda's Vac Shop. Tell them Prepping with Sarge sent you. So if you guys have a first responder business, or if you're a first responder or you're a veteran and you have a small business and you would like a free shout out, I need you to reach out to me at businesswithsarge@gmail.com. This is a thing that I'm doing for 2024. Just my little way of giving back to the first responders and some of the veterans. You guys know they have a very special place in my heart, and I wanted to do something nice for them this year. So if you're a first responder or somebody you know is a first responder or a veteran and they have a small business, please have them reach out to me. I'm going to give them some free advertising. Okay, businesswithsarge@gmail.com. All right. Um, all right. So that's the story that I had. Basically, my friend is doing okay. He eventually did get a new job. They eventually got paid down on their debt, and actually, wife is doing really good too. Her illness is well under control right now. It's managed with medications, and they have good health care. So uh, for now, we're real pleased with that. But yeah, silver and gold can absolutely help you out in an emergency. It is not something that you should just neglect, right? So one more point about this is that yes, I also advocate for an emergency cash fund. In fact, I think you should do that before this. You should have at least a couple months set back, but as much as you can afford to set back for your emergency fund. But what do we know, right? Like most of us are going to dip into that periodically, and it's hard to replenish it because, times are tough right now for us too. You know, things we've had to tighten the belts in some areas. Some areas have done really well. We own a couple of small businesses. Some of them have done really well. Some of them not so well. You know, so sometimes you have to dip into your cash savings. The advantage with this platinum's good too. I don't personally stack platinum, but I don't disagree with that comment at all, Anthony. Um, the advantage of this is I'm much less likely to dip into this, right? I'm going to only dip into this if I genuinely have an emergency. That's the difference between this and a cash fund. So personally, I think you should have both. Okay. All right, let me check your comments real quick here, and then we're going to wrap it up because I did tell you this was going to be a short one. Let me just see if I missed any questions or anything like that. And I appreciate everybody. If you got anything of value out of this, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you think I'm an idiot, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. I appreciate the feedback anyways. Thank you, mods, for always helping out. And make sure you're checking out everybody's channel here, because everybody that comes into chat here, almost everybody that comes into chat here is also a content creator, and they put out some really awesome videos here. A lot of them are preppers, some of them are silver stackers, but everybody here that I'm seeing that's got a channel is putting out some great stuff. So definitely make sure you check them out. And always appreciate my mods here, guys. This giveaway that I got coming up is going to be epic. I really am hoping that the way that I'm doing it is going to make sure that I'm trying to maximize the chances that some of you all win the good prizes. And I have to be fair. I have to follow YouTube's terms of service. So it has to be open to everybody. But I think by doing it where, you know, you're going to have to be in the live stream, that's going to make sure that it's more likely to go to a prepper or somebody who's into precious metals, or somebody who's part of our regular Friday night streams. All right, I'm just scrolling through here as I'm talking, not seeing any questions. Platinum is nice because it's so pure. Yeah, and I didn't talk about copper tonight, but I've talked about copper before. Let me just end with this. I personally, what I do for copper is I save all my nickels, just regular old nickels, because they actually have copper in them. And but I don't stack like bars of copper personally. The reason I don't is, hey Vanessa Katie, the reason I don't is because for the amount of money that like a big bar of copper is versus the weight, it just doesn't make sense for me to fill a closet full of copper bars. But I save all my nickels. The United States government has talked about doing away with nickels in the past. That could still happen. Then you know, that's going to be like the ones in circulation will slowly become less and less available. So any nickels that I pick up when I'm doing transactions, I throw them into a jar. And why do I keep? I told you I was going to tell you why do I keep my metals off site. Um, Guys, I live in the city, and there is a lot of break-ins and whatnot. Not um, so when I weigh the pros and cons, like people say, well, yeah, you always want to have your silver and gold within arm's reach. Not for me. Not for me. It's actually safer in a vault for me, and I can get to it quickly. Is there a chance that something could go wrong? Yeah, there's been cases of that. There's been cases of that where, you know, somebody's vault gets raided and whatnot. That could happen, but honestly, I had to weigh the chances for it for me. And my silver and gold is safer in a vault. Okay, but maybe you live out in the county and nobody knows that you've got some silver and gold. Get yourself a nice floor safe, and you know, make it fire resistant as best as you can, and maybe that's okay for you. But if you live in a high crime area like I do, you know, maybe think about what I'm saying, okay? And again, it's your money. You do what you want with it. I think I did see a question there. What happened to the good old days after the 2008 crash when we had to fight off the meth heads from? Yeah, that's happening here with the platinum. Wayne, there people are stealing catalytic converters in my city, and I don't know if anybody else is seeing that where you are, but that's picked up again. That people are starting to steal the catalytic converters. All right, y'all. Yeah, the gold confiscation in 1933, and I've talked about this before. That's the reason why I'm going to also start adding some gold jewelry in, because jewelry is seen a little bit differently, and that's also the reason why I mostly stick to sovereign bullion that actually has a value. Like, see, that one's worth $10. That's 10 Canadian dollars, I believe. Yeah, 10 Canadian dollars. These are less likely to be deemed that way if, God forbid, there's ever a silver and gold confiscation again. But here's the thing. If there's a silver and gold confiscation again, based on what we've learned on history, I expect people not to comply. I think most people won't comply. I think somebody like me is going to give all my silver and gold away to the homeless people in my area. Good luck tracing it. I hear that there's going to be a lot of boating accidents. Yep. So, yeah, I'm going to start looking like Mr. T. You got it, dove season. All right, y'all. That's it for today. I hope you have a great weekend. Try to stay warm. I know most of the country is under a pretty bad cold spell right now. We're getting a pretty cold weekend, but then we're going to warm back up. And I know Steve out there in California, he's always got the good weather. He brags about it, but we can't all be as lucky as you, buddy. Will vaults comply? Ooh, great question. You know what? I'm gonna say, hey, digital. I'm gonna save that one for another night. That's a great question. That is a great question. Thank you for that. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. Keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.